We love Bioware for many things, the story, the settings, the choices, but let's not be coy, we also love the romance. We're all hopeless romantics at heart, and we love a bit of sap, and Dragon Age is no different. Hi, it's Rima from MEOdyssEY, and today I'm going to be running down my favourite romances in the Dragon Age series. Some quick rules, these are firstly in no particular order and my personal opinion, so I look forward to hearing your favourites in the comments below. So get those feels ready and let's get this list going, and there are some spoilers ahead. The daughter of the fabled Witch of the Wilds Flebith and a formidable mage herself, Morrigan is introduced in Dragon Age very early on when your character and Alistair encounter her in the Kokari Wilds in Dragon Age Origins. Morrigan is the definition of a sarcastic, elegant, and mysterious seductress. She's also very selfish and self-serving, but not in a bad way. The more you get to know her, you realise that she's a product of her upbringing. Raised in the wilds, isolated from other people, and only having Flemeth, a seemingly schemy and unloving being, as her mother. But as she spends more time with you, she softens and learns that not all people are as suspicious as they seem, and comes to value you, regardless if you are a couple, and even though she tries to hide it under backhanded compliments and smokescreens. Morrigan is also the only character you can actually have a child with, and even though Kieran may be a product of a magical ritual and a plot to trap the soul of an old god, blah blah blah, her devotion to her son shows how truly far she's travelled since Dragon Age Origins. And this might be a small side note, but Morrigan has some of the best dialogue with the other companion, Alistair, because their constant bickering provides a great little side story that accompanies you throughout Dragon Age Origins, and is still one of the best relationships in the entire series.
Have a care where your eyes linger, Alistair.
Yes, well don't worry. It's not what you think.
I see.
I was looking at your nose.
And what is it about my nose that captivates you so?
I was just thinking that it looks exactly like your mother's.
I hate you so much.
What?
This may not be a popular opinion, but Dragon Age 2 did a lot of things right, and one of those things were their characters. First you have Hawke, who was a voice character that became more interesting, as well as a character who was saddled with their own bias and interests, but you also have the companions who definitely have their own priorities and judgments that affect the way they look at your journey and choices, as well as the city of Kirkwall. And with no one is that more clear than with Anders. Anders is a Grey Warden mage you can first encounter in Dragon Age Origins The Awakening DLC. In Dragon Age 2, you encounter Anders after he becomes host to the Spirit of Justice. Justice, who has seemed to have strongly influenced, and in some opinion perverted, Anders' passion for freedom of all mages. This leads his story to become greatly intertwined with the main story of Dragon Age 2 and the plight of all mages. And if Hawke is a mage as well, you can find yourself joining his rebellion that will have such a great impact on Thedas and how the mages will be perceived from Dragon Age 2 onwards. Other than his mission, Anders is a very captivating personality. Sarcastic, with a light sense of humour, he provides much of the comedy relief with Varric and Hawke, but he also provides a great commentary on the political situation with passion and pride. The romance with Anders is perfect for those who love a tragic, revolutionary romance that is bound to be cursed by war and tragedy and angry spirits. The quintessential babbling, awkward, stumbling romance you have to love. Alistair starts off as Duncan's Grey Warden sidekick who feels to be that guy, the heroic soldier who will join you on your journey, but Alistair's much more than that. Self-doubting and troubled, probably due to his complicated heritage, Alistair is extremely loyal to the Grey Wardens and his ambitions end at doing right by the Order, even though the powers in Ferelden may want him to take on the throne. Always trying to do the right thing, he finds that his goodwill is constantly being tested by his past, his companions, his family, and the world around him, and that's when Alistair shines the best, still being the bright spark who tries to make you smile. Cassandra is just the best. Introduced as one of the Seekers of Truth in Dragon Age 2, questioning our favourite Dragon Age bro Varric about the champion of Kirkwall. At first she comes across as a harsh, devout and brutal person, willing to do anything to find the champion, but as Varric tells Hawke's tale, you can see her becoming fascinated with the legend, almost idolising them. In Dragon Age Inquisition, Cassandra is softer, but the events and tragedies of that game seem to shake her faith and values to the core. It's possible to anger Cassandra, force her to hate you, but she's still loyal to the Inquisition and what that means. Because what means most to her is doing right and standing up to protect the world. But all in all, Cassandra becomes a great friend, ally and partner throughout the game. But it isn't just her demeanour and composure that makes Cassandra so great, it's the undertone of humility and bashfulness, and of course the fact that she's a closeted romantic.
Maybe I should read that book.
You? No!
Why not me?
You're the Inquisitor.
Oh, I see.
They're terrible. And magnificent. And this one ends in a cliffhanger. I know Varric is working on the next. He must be. You could ask him to finish it. Command him to... Pretend you don't know this about me.
Now that we've discussed the right hand of the Divine, it's time to look at the left hand. LELIANA was first introduced to us in Dragon Age Origins as a chantry sister in Lothering who decides to join you as she believes she was guided by the Maker. With that lovely Orlesian accent, LELIANA constantly spins tales from her days as a bard. Whimsical, carefree, and a lover of nugs, those small pink cave rabbit things, LELIANA is a genuine treasure to have around as she aims to learn about the world, do right, and follow her faith. However, what makes LELIANA intriguing is that underneath that virtuous, devout chantry sister is a ruthless assassin. This underlying fact is what shines in Dragon Age Inquisition, and even though you cannot romance her in that game, her struggle with her sins and what she believes in is one of the best aspects of her character development. Regardless, if you romance her in Dragon Age Origins, LELIANA only seems to stand by two things: her faith and you. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't had much experience with Solas's romance, but it's just a known fact about how important Solas is to the story of Dragon Age, so some serious spoilers ahead if you haven't played Dragon Age Inquisition or the Trespasser DLC. Solas starts off as a knowledgeable apostate mage who knows about the rifts, the spirits, and the mark on your hand. He's very different from most mages and elves you come across, as he seems to be more comfortable with spirits from the Fade than with people. Solas can turn into a friend, confidant, and possibly into a romance, and his romance is very much unlike anything on this list, being more philosophical, otherworldly, and focusing on the soul, the Fade, and the history of the Elven people. However, the most important aspect of Solas' romance is one of heartbreak. You see, as the story progresses, it's revealed that Solas is actually Fen-Haral, the feared dreadwolf from the Elven lore, and was responsible for the events of Dragon Age Inquisition. The Trespasser DLC shows that Solas' guilt and responsibility for the Elven people has led him to want to uplift the people to the way they were before their downfall and his betrayal. This leads to a tragic and emotional cutscene where the Inquisitor can plead to stop Solas, but what the Inquisitor and Solas believe contradict each other, and the couple have to separate, as they will be supposedly fighting opposite sides of a war. Whether they are reunited is left to Dragon Age 4.
Solas, Varlath Vir Suladin.
I wish it could, Vernon. My love. I will never forget you.
Cullen can be first introduced early on in Dragon Age Origins as part of the Mage origin story as a shy Templar in the Ferelden Circle. However, you can encounter him later on trapped in the tower, being tortured by abominations and watching his friends die. A once compassionate Templar, he started to hate mages for what they could become, leading him to Kirkwall. However, Kirkwall and the Mage Rebellion test his convictions even further. It isn't until he's recruited by the Inquisition that Cullen finds a way to put his demons at rest. And as his partner, you can be someone who can truly help the commander find some peace, from kicking his lyrium habit to helping him soften his stance on mages. But much like Alistair, one of his greatest attributes is that shy, almost innocent attitude, but also the fact that from his beginnings as a Templar that would follow his leaders, even though you could see innocents suffer, he's become someone who's willing to stand up for others even if it means going against the only thing he's ever known. Plus, he loves dogs. Romance isn't just a side feature in Bioware RPGs, and even more so than Mass Effect, the romances in Dragon Age can play an important role in the story, as they can give you great insight into the characters who are so crucial to the plot, and help develop those characters throughout the series. And let's not forget that they make juicy tales in Varric's novels. So those were my favourite romances in the Dragon Age series, and as I said before, these are my personal favourites, and though there were others I loved like Dorian and Fenris, I had to end this list somewhere. But I'd love to know what your favourite romances were, so let me know in the comments below, and what do you think romance will look like in Dragon Age 4? If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and please share this video to help the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Maker be with you.